Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, we will learn about time. So let's start. Today, most clocks are digital clocks. Digital clocks are really simple to use. They simply show the digits for the hour and minutes. Here we have a digital clock. On the left, we see the hour, that is 7, and on the right, we see the minutes, that is 10. So what time is it? According to this clock, it is 7:10, that is 10 minutes past 7. What about this clock here? What time is it? According to this clock, it is 10 o'clock. On the left, we see the hour, which is 10, and on the right, we see the minutes, which are just zeros. So, it is exactly 10 o'clock. Digital clocks are not the only way we can see what time it is. Have you ever seen a clock like this before? Yeah, this is called an analog clock. Let's learn how to read analog clock. The front is called the face of the clock or the dial. The face includes the numbers, the parts that spin, and all the markings on the clock. The face, sometimes called the dial, has two main parts that point to the numbers and spin around. They are called hands. The shorter hand is called the hour hand. It shows us what hour it is. The hour hand is short. The longer hand is the minute hand. It points to the minutes. It tells us how much time has passed. Now let's have a look at this clock. Let's find out what time it is. Remember, when telling time, we always look at the hour hand first. Now let's have a look at the hour hand first. That is the short hand. What number is it? It is pointing at 3, so it is 3 hours. Now we just have to read the minutes. The minute hand is a long hand, but how do we read the minutes? All of those little lines in between the numbers on the face of the clock represent 1 minute. To find out the minutes, we just have to count by 5 around the clock. Starting at the 12 is a starting line. When the minute hand is at the 12, that means 0 minutes. Then the 1 is 5, 2 is 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then back to 0. All we have to do is count by 5. We already know what the hour is. The hour is 3. Now we have to figure out the minutes. We see that the minute hand is pointing at the 12, which means 0 minutes. Remember, with minutes, we always write 2 digits, so we'll write 2 zeros. So, what is this time? Yeah, 3 o'clock. Let's try another one. What time does this clock say? Where's the other hour hand? Remember, when telling time, we always look at the hour hand first. So let's find out where the hour hand is pointing. It's pointing at 5, so it is 5 hours. And where's the minute hand pointing? It's pointing at 12, which means how many minutes? Yeah, 0 minutes. So what time it is? It is 5 o'clock. Remember, when the minute hand is pointing at the 12, we always say o'clock. Now, let's figure out what time this clock is showing. First, let's look at the hour hand. Now, this time this hour hand is not directly pointing at the number. It is pointing between 2 and 3. When the hour hand is between 2 numbers, the hour is the earlier number. So, the hour is 2. where is the minute hand pointing? It is pointing at the number 6. So let's find out how many minutes has passed. To find out how many minutes has passed, we'll count by 5. So we start at the 12th number, which is we count by 5 to find out how many minutes has passed. So let's count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That means 30 minutes has passed. So what time is the clock showing? 2:30. That is 30 minutes past 2. There is another way to write the time when the minute hand points at 6. Since the minute hand went halfway around the clock face, so we use the word half past. So for 2:30, we can write as half past 2. Now, let's have a look at this clock. What time is it? Let's look at the hour hand first. The hour hand is pointing between two numbers, that is 8 and 9. Remember, when the hour hand is between two numbers, the hour is the earlier number. So, the hour is 8. Now, we'll see where the minute hand is pointing. The minute hand is pointing at the number 3. To find out how many minutes has passed, we count by 5. So we start at 12, which is 0 minutes, and then we count by 5 from 1. So let's count. 5, 10, 15. So how many minutes is this showing? Yeah, 15 minutes. So what time is the clock showing? 8:15. That means 15 minutes past 8. There is another way to write when the minute hand points at 3. That is, we use the word quarter past when the minute hand points at 3. When we split a clock face into 4 parts, each part is a quarter of an hour, that is 15 minutes each. When we say we split things into quarters, that means we split into 4 parts. Since each part is of 15 minutes, so we use the word quarter. So, for 8:15, we can read as quarter past 8. Remember, when the minute hand points at 3, we use the word quarter past. Now, let's have a look at another clock. Let's find out what time is this clock showing. First, let's see where the hour hand is pointing. The hour hand is pointing between two numbers, that is 7 and 8. So, which is the hour? Yeah, 7. The hour is always the earlier number on the clock when it is between two numbers. Now, let's see where the minute hand is pointing. The minute hand is pointing at 9. So to find out how many minutes has passed, we'll count by 5 from 1. So let's count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. That means 5 minutes has passed. So what time is it showing? Yeah, 7:45. There's another way to write the time when the minute hand points at 9. That is, we use the word quarter to. Because it's almost 8, that's 15 minutes before 8. Because when we count from 12 from this area till 9, we get 15 minutes. So 15 minutes is left to be 8. So we use the word quarter to. So for 7:45, we can say that it's quarter to 8. So for 7:45, we read the time as quarter to 8. Remember, when the minute hand points at 9, we use the word quarter to. So that's all for today. Till then, stay home, stay safe.